The current study is over food selectivity. The participant in the study is a 13-year-old male diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. His food selectivity did not begin until age of 8. Prior to that, his father described him as having a regular form of eating habits. He lives at home with his mother and his father and his 16-year-old brother, who is also diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. He attends middle school throughout the week on a military base where he packs his lunch each day that includes the same foods. The target behavior is food selectivity, increasing intake of new foods. New food is defined as any food that the client has not eaten in the past 2 or more years, and by eating is defined as placed in his mouth, chewed to a pureed consistency, and swallowed at 100%. The sessions consisted of breakfast, lunch, and dinner length of 20 to 30 minutes, no longer than 30 minutes, no less than 20 minutes. The number of bites eaten were divided by the number of bites presented in order to calculate the percentage of bites taken. New food consumption was measured by how many bites he takes of the new food when prompted, divided by the number of opportunities to take bites, and then multiplied by 100 to calculate the percentage. The design of this study was single subject, differential reinforcement of alternative behavior design with a continuous schedule of reinforcement. The behavior that was prompted and reinforced was taking bites of the new food as opposed to not taking bites of the food. The client was rewarded using a continuous schedule of reinforcement for every bite he ate during the 20-minute meal interval. Baseline data consisted of the client being presented 2 lunch meals and 3 dinner meals in the same week that consisted of new food. An example of the lunch meal would be half of a piece of bologna on a folded over piece of white bread to make half of a sandwich, or half of a serving size. An example of the dinner was plain pasta or chicken fingers as opposed to chicken nuggets or popcorn chicken. Each meal was presented in the kitchen at the eat-in island located in the kitchen, and the RBTs and the brother were present during the mealtime, and the brother was presented with the same food. No prompting or reinforcement was offered during baseline. During the intervention to increase new food intake, the new food item was presented, again, half of the designated serving, and the meal stopwatch was started to keep track of time. Once presented with food, the student was given verbal prompts every 2 minutes by the RBT. The results concluded an increase of new food intake by 24% from baseline to week 6. Treatment fidelity was assessed 1 time a week during baseline and intervention phase. Over a 6-week period, the fidelity was assessed 6 times, or 60% of the total number of data collection days. The data for treatment fidelity during baseline was 93%. There were 15, including 10 verbal prompts on a schedule, total steps in the implementation, and all 15 steps were completed accurately during baseline with the exception of verbal prompts at 1 2-minute interval during the second observation. The RBT was corrected after the meal was complete and made aware of the missed prompt. Intervention steps were completed at 100%. The IOA data during the intervention was 100% for treatment integrity. The researcher accurately completed all 15 steps. IOA was collected by another RBT who sat in during these sessions. Future research should develop the intervention in other settings, as opposed to just at home, at school, and in public would be areas of interest. Having a large menu and using a systematic rotation towards the end of research to generalize the new foods into familiar foods could be beneficial in future research as well. And again, it should be done in different settings The overall study was fairly well laid out. I would change the menu and add a specific menu to it in the future. Weaknesses in the study include the lack of generalization and possibly extraneous variables, such as when we were doing intervention, the brother was also in the space and was also engaging in intake of food, and that could have been influential on the client. Thank you.